You know the fun thing about being at your own place? I can smoke inside if I want to. No more smoking on the porch unless I really want to. As the cigarette goes flopping all over the place because I'm talking. Blah, 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 blah. Did I ever talk about Devil May Cry 5? I don't think I did. So I haven't done a video game discussion in a while, and I figured it'd be time to go ahead and do one. If you haven't played Devil May Cry 5, I really recommend you get around to doing it. Because Devil May Cry 5 is absolutely amazing. Also, I'm using a new feature on the phone here, and we're going to see how long it decides to record for, but hopefully it'll let me get all my thoughts out before it stops recording. But I don't know. We'll see. Anywho, Devil May Cry 5. I feel like Capcom has really made quite the comeback lately, because with Devil May Cry 5... Oh, my thumb's in the way. Holy shit, sorry about that. With Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2, they've really proved that they are still quite good at making absolutely excellent video games. And I'll be honest, I'm excited for Resident Evil 3, and wherever the Devil May Cry franchise goes from here on out, I see nothing but good potential. Real quick, before I go into Devil May Cry 5 proper, I want to talk about the Abomination. I don't have one of those things on the back of my phone that people can just slide their fingers into, so it's always very uncomfortable holding this fucking thing. Before I go into Devil May Cry 5 proper, I want to talk about the absolute abortion that was DMC. You see, back when DMC came out, you had a bunch of what I like to call new fags that were all like, oh man, this is so much better, this Dante's so amazing, this Dante's great. And those losers like to act like, oh, DMC failed because y'all were harsh on it and because y'all made fun of it. No, DMC failed because it was a bad game. Looking at DMC, and I actually played DMC back when my life was falling apart and you guys were like, DMC 5! I decided when I came back to my home state to get a copy of DMC and play it. And playing it was horrendous. Yes, I didn't actually play it when I made fun of it because I wasn't going to support it. And as of right now, I still haven't supported it. I got one of the GameStop's buy two, get one free deals, and guess which one was the freebie? Fucking DMC. Anywho, playing that game was absolutely awful. The story was terrible, the gameplay was sluggish, the characters were fucking unlikable, and it was just a complete mess. DMC failed because it wasn't a good game, not because the fans were like, we want the real Dante back, but we wanted the real Dante back. DMC failed because it wasn't a good game, and because we didn't fucking buy it. The only ones that bought it were these losers. Is like, oh, this is so much better than the classic games. Was it really? Was it really? Because after playing Devil May Cry 5 and seeing what Capcom can produce proper, DMC is nothing more than a stain on the taint of some demon's ass. Anywho, let's talk about Devil May Cry 5. So Devil May Cry 5 is a direct continuation of the stories of classic games. Devil May Cry 2 is omitted, obviously, because no one fucking liked Devil May Cry 2. I liked it, but it's not good. It is a continuation of the legacy of the Sons of Sparta. In this game, you will be taking control of Nero, eventually Dante, and a new character that's been introduced, V. Now, I made it very clear with some of the videos I uploaded that I did not like V, and I still do not like playing as V. I don't like playing that character's fighting style. It's just not my thing. I'm much more inclined towards Nero or Dante's fighting style. But a lot of people really liked him, and that's okay, fine, whatever. But this game is definitely a sequel. Bringing back Nero, introducing new characters, bringing back Lady and Trish. This is Devil May Cry. This is Devil May Cry 5, and it's glorious. So first and foremost, I just wanted to talk about the gameplay. I wanted to talk about the characters, and I wanted to talk about the story. Now, obviously, I don't want to spoil anything for any of you that haven't played the game yet. So if I'm going to talk about anything spoilerish, which I'll probably put later in the video, just know I'll let you know before I start talking about spoilers. Because I want to fucking talk about some spoilers. But let's be real. If you're a fan of Devil May Cry 5, or Devil May Cry in general, you probably already played this. So, just you know what I'm going to gush about. But the story of Devil May Cry 5 is that a powerful demon is going to be resurrected. A new Very, very, very powerful demon is introduced at the beginning of the game that completely decimates our crew and really leaves them very demoralized. It is also hinted that this demon is the one that wounded Nero and stole his arm. Anybody that's played these games before immediately knows who the hell actually stole the arm and can probably guess who's going to show up. But again, spoilers, I don't want to talk about it just yet. But at the very beginning of the game, I believe his name was Urizen, beats the shit out of all our characters. And he does it sitting down. He basically sits atop his throne of blood and gore and just laser beams the shit out of anybody that comes at him. He is the most powerful thing we've seen in the series thus far. I was kind of hoping that Mundus would make a comeback because Mundus has, of course, in the first game mentioned he will be back. And that was something that the DMC reboot tried to capitalize on. That's not a good Mundus. I want the three-eyed king of the demon world to come back. But this story was really intricate and interesting because it's one of the first times we've seen our characters really get their asses beat and knocked back and have to regroup and leave and try again later. And it's really interesting seeing the progression of the characters as they're working towards stopping this powerful and potent demon and all of his little underlings. There's a lot of really cool shit and a lot of really cool callbacks. But overall, the story of this game is excellent, and I do want to talk about it more, but I can't talk about any more of it right now without spoiling the fuck out of it. But it's good. It's really good. The gameplay. The gameplay is perfect. Now, I know that's a weird thing to say, because a lot of people are like, there's no such thing as a perfect video game. Fuck off. Devil May Cry 5 is perfect. From the control schemes, which are completely and utterly customizable, which for a guy like me that does not like, I do not like having Y or triangle be my attack button. I'm much more inclined towards X on the Xbox One controller, or square being my main attack button. It's just more comfortable. I feel like putting my thumb all the way up on triangle or Y is really uncomfortable and cumbersome, and I'm not a fan of it. So whenever a game gives me customizable control schemes and it's a hack and slash, I always put the main attack on square or X. And this game lets you do that. You can customize each character's individual fighting style, which is a good thing considering some characters fight completely different. Playing as, for instance, I think they're playable. Lady and Trish is completely different than playing as, say, Nero or Dante. Hell, playing as Nero is really different when you get to, the post-game and the end-game and the replayability, because some of his newer or returning abilities really make the control scheme a bit of a clusterfuck, but it's fun. It's definitely fun, and I'll talk about it more in a minute. But damn does the game play silky smooth. It runs at a solid 60 FPS. I never once had a single dip. It was absolutely beautiful from beginning to end. It made DMC look like fucking trash on the Unreal Engine, because this thing's using a modified RE engine, which was the same engine used in Resident Evil 7, which I don't like Resident Evil 7, but seeing Devil May Cry 5 run on this engine makes me kind of respect Resident Evil 7 a little more. Also, it's a little bit offensive how some of its textures were horrible, but Devil May Cry 5 looks amazing in gameplay. And the thing that I loved the most was the addition that they made. The Devil May Cry 5, Devil May Cry has always had the style system. If you've played these games, you know what the style system is. As you fight in each individual encounter with enemies, you will, of course, try to kill them as stylishly as possible. And when you're fighting them, you'll have a gauge on the side that slowly fills up and tells you how well you're doing. Starting, I think at D, working its way to B, A, and eventually S, I think. Oh, wait, no, there's a C in there somewhere. Is it D, C, B, A? I don't know. A, B, C, D. Yes, D, C, B, A, and then S class. And, of course, if you do really good, you'll get into triple S, double S, that sort of thing. The thing they added to this game that I thought was really cool is, whenever the music kicks in and you're in combat, if you do good enough, if you get into those sick smoking styles, the lyrics kick in, which is awesome. Because the thing I loved the most about playing games like Metal Gear Rising was the fact that they had music with lyrics, and it was fucking cool. But with Devil May Cry 5, they bumped it up a notch with having it be, hey, if you play really good, you're going to get some sick music with some sick lyrics. And it was absolutely a joy playing through these levels, fighting these demons. I always looked forward to when I had like a whole bunch of them. You really need to play this game on harder difficulty so they can really take the punishment. But playing and getting the style gauge up high enough for the lyrics to kick in was always a complete and absolute joy in this game. And I loved it thoroughly. It was so much fun. But the gameplay is amazing. You get a plethora of different weapons, moves, abilities. The thing that always irritated me about DMC, you know, I'm gonna keep shitting on DMC. DMC was a fucking travesty. The thing that irritated me is like none of the styles, none of the new abilities really had any punch to them. However, with Nero unlocking, you know, my favorite move from Devil May Cry 4 was when Nero would do the overhead swing, and he would keep overhead swinging hard and fast, and the more you hit the button, the faster he would go. And it was just this barrage of anger and hate and the devil inside. And it was really fucking cool. And that makes a return in this game. And it immediately felt punchy. Getting Nero's different moves that allow him to do different slashes, like the combo that you could do in the air where he spins the sword around and sends the enemy flying up higher. That felt immediately better. Getting new moves for Dante felt really good. And again, I don't like playing as V. I just don't like his fighting style. But when I unlocked more of the moves for Shadow, it got a little bit better. It played a little bit better. But overall, the gameplay in this game is so fucking solid. It is excellent. It is perfect. I can't think of anything about Devil May Cry 5's gameplay that left me going, because it was absolutely the best possible gameplay I could have expected from Devil May Cry 5. Because after 4, you know, we were all really worried. You know, that's another thing I want to talk about in the story in just a little bit when I start talking about spoilers. We were all really worried because Devil May Cry 4 was an incomplete game. You know, you played through as Nero and then you played the exact same goddamn levels as Dante. There were a few moments in the game where you did replay a level, but it never felt tedious. It never felt, you know, bad. It was from the perspective of a different character, and it was adding to the story. It was fleshing it out. There are so many missions in this game, and it's such a lengthy Devil May Cry. It's so fucking good to play, and I loved it so much. I'm just gushing about this game. Let's talk about the characters. So the characters in this game, you have returning characters, Dante, Trish, Lady. You have Nero. Kyrie doesn't show up in game, but she is, you know, mentioned, and Nero talks to her on the phone a few times. You have a new character, Nico, who is, number one, Southern as all fuck. Her accent, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that accent, but I liked her character. She's, of course, the person that makes Nero's devil breaker arm weapons, the robo arms, and she's your shop, and she does all these things for you. And not to mention the fact that she's a bit of a fucking fangirl for Dante. When she meets Dante and starts fangirling, I was absolutely loving it. It was great. And also, the scene where Dante does the Michael Jackson dance, fucking awesome. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of MJ, but that was just beautiful. It was lovely. It was great. It was a weird addition, but I loved the shit out of it. But you have these characters coming back and interacting in a fully fledged out, complete game. You have the new character V, who basically pulls them together. He's like, hey, there's a really powerful demon that's going to fuck shit up, and we need help. You also have, I think, a character from the anime who, last I checked, that guy was white in the anime, but I don't know. Anywho, it's weird. But I think actually maybe he was black in the manga, but I remember him being white in the anime. I have the anime. I need to rewatch it. But the characters interacting in this new game was great, and seeing some of the interactions between different characters was also great, because knowing what we know now from Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, that Nero is basically Virgil's son, it really is interesting seeing him interact with Uncle Dante. It's fucking cool. I just absolutely loved it. The characters, the gameplay, the story, which I really want to gush about some spoilerish stuff in just a minute. It was awesome, and I loved it thoroughly. But I'm going to light up another cigarette, and then I'm going to talk about some spoiler stuff, because it seems the phone is going to keep recording. Basically, I queued up the YouTube app and told it, let's make a video. I've never done it like this before. Usually I just record, but hopefully it just keeps recording. If it stops at any point, just know Devil May Cry 5 is awesome. But yeah, let's have another cigarette. And let's talk about some spoiler stuff. Now, again, if you haven't played Devil May Cry 5 yet, please play Devil May Cry 5 before watching the rest of my video. If you haven't played Devil May Cry 5 yet, shame on you in general, because you should fucking get Devil May Cry 5 and fucking play it. It's about to hit 15 minutes, and I'm going to see if it stops recording. Nope, still going. All right. So, let's talk spoilers. This is your last chance to back out if you haven't played DMC 5. Nero's back. I mean, not Nero. I fucked that up. Virgil's back. Yes, Nero's back. We know he's back. He's on the flirt. Virgil is back. Virgil is the one that basically tore Nero's arm off and took back Yamato, which anybody who has any sense knew that that was what was happening immediately. V is basically the human half of Virgil. What happened was he took Yamato and used it to separate his humanity from the rest of himself. Urizen, the big powerful demon at the beginning of the game, is a manifestation of Virgil's devilish nature. He is super powerful. He is unbelievably evil. And he is collecting the blood of humans through his evil roots and trees and new forms of demons in order to craft this fruit, this demon fruit, that he will devour and become even more powerful. There is a cat that is driving me crazy. Fuck off! I have to get me a new cat at some point. Kate still has mine. But he is incredibly powerful. And the story, as it unfolds, you learn, of course, that this is, of course, Virgil. But the thing that really got me with the story that I didn't want to spoil, and I'm spoiling now, is when Virgil does make a comeback, as in actual Virgil, when V reunites with Virgil and they become one again, and it's actually Virgil, that's when the story really hit a peak for me. I was really wanting Mundus to come back, because he is something I look forward to seeing again in some future game, because holy crap was he cool. But Virgil being back, a lot of people will be like, oh man, it's just Virgil again. No. This time it's different. This time it's different because Virgil and Dante have been fighting for a long fucking time. They have been at each other's throats. And you get a bit of an idea of why Virgil is the way he is through a flashback when Sparta is fending off... You don't actually see Sparta, but it's implied that Sparta is fending off demons that are attacking their home. And Dante's mother is hiding him in the closet and letting him know, I'm going to go find Virgil. You need to run. You need to hide. You need to survive. Virgil is the way he is because I think he thinks that either his mother abandoned him because he was too weak, or he feels that he was too weak to protect his mother, protect his family. And that characterization really hit home with Virgil. That's the reason he seeks this power. He's not necessarily super evil. He doesn't care for humans the way Dante does. But he also laments that he was too weak to save his family. And now, of course, he's fighting his brother again, trying to kill his brother again. And this time his son is involved. The moment when Dante breaks the truth to Nero that Virgil is his father is a absolutely amazing story moment. It's a moment where, Nero, he's been alone for so long. He had Credo, he had Kyrie, he had the people that were in his town. I can't remember the name of the town, but he's been alone. And learning that not only is Dante his fucking uncle, Virgil is his father, is intense. And it's at that moment that, Nero really develops as a character, because close to the end of the game, Dante and Virgil are fighting. They're trying to kill each other. They both have their devil triggers. Dante gets his new devil trigger, which I thought they were going to call it the Majin form that was from 2, but it's basically Majin, but it's not Majin. The way, Virgil used his sword to separate his humanity from himself, Dante uses his sword, Rebellion, which was broken by Urizen. He uses his sword to gain a power upgrade, to become more strong. It's also getting close to 20 minutes. I don't know if it's going to stop. But they're fighting. They are trying to kill each other again, at each other's throats. And it's at this moment that Nero does something that I didn't expect in this game. He goes Devil Trigger. And while he had a Devil Trigger in 4, this time he goes full Devil Trigger. He becomes, like Nero, like Dante and Virgil, Nero becomes a demon, a devil. He goes full on demon mode. He has this long white hair and horns and wings, and he's full on Devil Trigger. And what happens is they are fighting each other. They're coming at each other. You can watch this cutscene on YouTube. If you've played the game, you've seen it. He basically blitzes down in between the two of them and stops them from fighting. And he bitch slaps the fuck out of Dante. And he's like, hey, this shit stops now. I'm not going to let you two kill each other. The sibling rivalry ends now. And the final fight is between Nero and Virgil. And it's fucking epic. It's absolutely epic. It is beautiful, and it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. Like, I don't know what they could do for Devil May Cry 6. In my opinion, it would be really awesome if Devil May Cry 6 had Mundus finally come back, and then you had the two sons of Sparta teaming up with their fucking nephew and son to fight Mundus. That would be fucking cool. But seeing Nero surpass them in power to the point where he's like, you two are fucking stopping, is breathtaking. The thing that I hated about DMC was that Dante in DMC wasn't even human. He was, a Nephilim. He was a child of a demon and an angel. That was the biggest issue with DMC. A lot of people will complain about this or that. No. The biggest issue with DMC was that Dante wasn't human. The overlying theme of the Devil May Cry series for me has always been that humanity is important. Nero is the son, the grandson of Sparta. As compared to Dante and Virgil, he doesn't have, I would say, enough demon power to surpass either one of them. But he does. That's the thing. That's why Virgil was always incapable of gaining the power that he sought, because he sought to shrug off his humanity. The humanity is what makes them powerful. You know, I played Undertale just a little while ago, and it's like humans possess determination. That's what I feel with Devil May Cry as a whole, as a series. The whole point of Devil May Cry is that the humanity is what makes them more powerful than the demons. Their ability to tap into something that is in the human blood part of them is what makes them stronger. And that's why Nero is able to do what he does, because he's able to see through the bullshit. He's able to see through the nonsense of these two brothers fighting over what is completely and utterly frivolous. And he taps into a real power within and beats both their asses and says, hey, fucking stop. And it's beautiful. Devil May Cry 5 is perfect. I got everything I wanted out of the gameplay. I got everything I wanted out of the story. I got everything I wanted out of the characters except for V. And honestly, I cannot believe that Capcom was able to put this together, given the weird track record they've had for the past decade with some of their licenses and some of their IPs. I am super surprised at the comeback that not only Resident Evil, but Devil May Cry has had. And I am super, super anticipating the next game. Because if they do make a Devil May Cry 6, I want to play as Nero more. I want to be able to use Devil Bringer again, because that's what happens. When he goes Devil Trigger, what I was talking about, his new moves, Devil Bringer comes back, and he's able to do these moves where he grabs enemies and does these combos and all these things that you haven't been able to do the entire game because he didn't have his Devil Arm. And it's so fucking cool. I want another game as Nero with this Devil Trigger, with his abilities. Hell, if he keeps the Devil Breakers, awesome. If not, whatever. I want another game with all this really fucking cool shit. And I want Dante and Virgil, not necessarily to be out of the limelight, because that would be harsh for some fans of Dante and Virgil, but I want them to be there as mentors, as characters, adding and fleshing the story out. And if Mundus comes back, I want them to help Nero bring him down once and for all and actually kill him. Not just, oh, he's fleeing to the demon world and he's going to come back. No, I want them to kill him and beat him once and for all. The beast that killed their mother. I want them to get him. Devil May Cry 5 was fucking awesome. And if you haven't played it yet, you need to play it, because it was glorious, and I can't help but absolutely be completely anticipative of what they're going to do next with this franchise. Please play Devil May Cry 5. if for no other reason than you purchasing it and showing Capcom, hey, this is what we want, means they'll be forced to make more. It's about to hit 25 seconds, and I wonder if it's going to stop now. Let's see. Nope. I think I'll use this method from now on when recording because obviously my phone's internal memory fucking hates me. Huge SD card in it and it won't register. But overall, Devil May Cry 5 was perfect. And if you want to argue with me, well, I didn't like this aspect of it, I will come over there and I will stick Sparta in your eye. Okay? Devil May Cry 5 was perfect. It's a perfect game. It's a perfect culmination of what I wanted from the series. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. If you haven't played it, you need to play it. If you want to go on a binge and play through the other Devil May Crys, bar 2, go ahead. They're all available now on the current gen systems, either physically or digitally. Play them. I would recommend, if you're going to play them, play Devil May Cry 1 and 3, jump into 4, and then jump immediately into 5, because holy crap is it so fucking good. It is so good. And I'm just really impressed with it. I bought the game brand new day one. I played the shit out of it, and I loved every fucking second of it. Except for V. But, Devil May Cry 5 was amazing. And honestly, we're never going to get a DMC2. We're not. We're just not, because Capcom is smarter than that, hopefully. Yeah. I love the shit out of it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If there's anything I really missed talking about, like, for instance, Dante's style system, which I didn't mention at all, but holy crap, doing a styles was amazing. Please comment down below and let me know of any things I missed. Let me know what you thought of the game. Did you enjoy it? Do you like playing as V? Do you think his combat system is fun? I personally didn't enjoy it, but let me know what you think. What did you think with Nero going full Devil Trigger? I gotta be honest. I gotta be really honest. With Nero's Devil Trigger,